Pecha Kucha 291, Arkham Asylum Revisited. So this is the only Batman book for grown-ups. It is definitely full of mature ideas and content. It was released in 1989, sold a lot of copies, and I've discovered a story within the story rereading my 15-year anniversary version. The basic premise is that the inmates have taken over the asylum. They've demanded Batman as their payment for behaving themselves. So he goes there, and his job is to escape. It's a story of self-discovery as Batman has to face demons, both real and imagined. And it's also a broader investigation into how dangerous his rogues gallery of criminal insane people are. But actually the more interesting story of the three is that it's also the history of Arkham Asylum itself, as told through the journal of Amadeus Arkham as he descends into madness several decades previously, and the way that the stories connect towards the end is quite interesting too. You realize you're in for an unorthodox, creepy ride when the Joker grabs Batman's ass as Batman's entering, and everyone's acting a little bit too human and a little bit too crazy for the stock type of thing you'd get from your average comic book. The psychiatrists are arguably also crazy, trying to cure Two-Face's obsession with his coin by working him from a coin up to tarot cards, an exercise which results in him being unable to make a decision, which he usually makes by flipping his coin to the point where he wets himself. You'll have noticed the art is very experimental. It's mixed media. Dave McKean, the artist, is an artist with a capital A. That's one of the strongest selling points of this book. It's visually unlike any other Batman book you'll ever read. What I didn't realize is the depth of Grant Morrison's script. This is artsy, this book. The bit where Batman stabs himself violently in the hand for no particular reason, just to have this splash page. This is what you're getting into. This is a coffee table book for hipsters, as well as one of the best Batman book ever written. And half of my version of the book is the original script with annotations from the writer Grant Morrison, who has written some other very interesting stuff in his career, and isn't entirely just a comic book writer. In reading the script, just flicking through it as I finished the book, I quickly discovered it wasn't him just telling me what I'd already seen. Starting with the bit where the Joker's not supposed to wear a trench coat, he's supposed to be head to toe dressed in drag like Madonna from a 80s or 90s video. And continuing page after page with me flicking through the script while looking at what Dave McKean drew and going, hold on, I don't remember this. And then realizing that's because Dave McKean didn't draw the things in the script that help all of the themes that Grant Morrison is trying to convey, because this book is jam-packed with symbology and psychology and all kinds of stuff. And furthermore, Grant Morrison even provided Dave McKean with thumbnail sketches, some of the ones on this page showing the Joker in his little black dress, to further help Dave McKean see what it is that Grant Morrison is going for. These are the kind of things I was imagining when reading Morrison's script. And the fact that Robin was supposed to be in the book and he got removed, according to Morrison, because McKean simply refused to subject his artistic integrity to drawing him, I find that quite hilarious. This is the third story for me in this book. The differences between what was expected to be drawn and what was actually drawn. And like the scene that really does it for me is the scene where Batman meets the Mad Hatter. And Grant Morrison clearly says he's sitting on a toadstool surrounded by giant chess pieces. One of which is a giant knight, which feeds into the symbolicism of Batman being, the Dark Knight, the Rook figure. This is the page in the book. There are no chess pieces. And you know what? Maybe the Mad Hat is sitting on a mushroom. It's pretty difficult to tell, but it's certainly not what is in the thumbnails. But that's enough about that. Arkham Asylum, if you're a grown-up, check it out. And you like Batman, if you can tolerate Batman and grown-up stories. I also thought about doing Pecha Kuchas that are moving image. I'll be uploading my sample version of that I kind of pieced together alongside this Pecha Kucha. I did take the time to draw Bison hanging out with his buddy Skelebro. Boy, I'm glad I don't give a fuck about doing these things properly, because just finding like a weed pattern to use for their stoner t-shirts, their Hawaiian shirts, was more trouble than it should have been. I did also find the time to think about the way I use the pencil tools in Clip Studio Paint, because it's been a while since I sat down and tried to draw something tonal. And yeah, I pulled out a little picture of the Joker, and it was an interesting thought experiment. I'm also re-scripting my manga from the start to improve the characterization of the core cast. I've ironed it out much faster than the last thing. The idea is that I'm not trying to fit so much into such little space, so it should breathe more. We'll see. I'm halfway through the first issue. And I touched base with my Smiley Show comic on Saturday again, my 7-page Smiley Show, just where every Saturday I do something. I've got to the point where it's mostly drawn, it's mostly got speech bubbles, and now I'm adding colour. Eventually I'll find myself in a position where I have no choice but to finish this thing and then start another one, irregardless of what else is going on during the week. So my Jedi mind trick to trick myself into doing work is full steam ahead. I could do a whole video essay. You could talk for 7 hours on Arkham Asylum. As the book's subtitle says, it's a serious... Actually, what does it say? It's a serious story on serious Earth, something like that. But it really is. It really is for grown-ups. It's very excellent if you don't mind being disturbed out of your fucking mind by a bunch of cartoon characters suddenly being degenerate criminals for real, though. Right? It's unpleasant, but it's valuable. Like Berserk, like it's got some grown-up ideas in it in a form that you're not comfortable seeing them in, because it's unusual. Boy, I can't wait to talk about this for a third time in the future. But that's the end of Pecha Kucha 291. You will see this going up, and then you will see the sample video version that I recorded earlier in the week going up too. Leave a comment if you think that's something you're interested in seeing more of in the future. It's more work, but I'm not sure that it's too much work. We'll see. So I'll see you then.